All right, we're live from my bedroom, and this season on the road. On the road, and so far I should be calling it live from the green rooms. Find myself sitting in a green room, and most of them at this point are actually green, and I have an outlet, and I get to hook my stuff up to an outlet. That's all I need is one outlet in a green room, and they're pretty cozy, but they're cozy, if you know what I'm saying. So live from my bedroom on location is happy to be out and doing their thing here. And here I am doing my thing, and I'd like to thank our sponsor. Our sponsor, Second Time Around Tire. 3 locations. The one I'm cooking at is usually at Finch and Keel, which is 3915 Keel in Toronto. You got Scarborough, and also outside yourself in Oshawa. So thank you to them. You need winter tires? You need tires? Second Time Around Tires. So I'm a performer. That's what I am. That's what I do. I perform things. I do a little music. I do a little acting. I do a little singing. I'm not calling myself a singer. I'm not calling myself an actor. I'm not calling myself a musician or a guitar player, I would say. No, I'm a performer. Put me on stage. I like to perform. It's what I like to do. And being on stage, it's something that people just do or don't do. Most people are afraid of being on stage. That's what allows me to feel that I have a talent, because most people don't want to do it. And I'm happy to go on stage. I'm actually excited to be on stage, and I like the interaction of being on stage. But then I also like being on the mic, just talking on the mic, hearing my own voice. Love my own voice, and so I put it out there, guys. This is my open mic. It's open mic to out there, reaching to you. I have this listed as a community on the Palmcast network. I mean, I would love to get enough sponsors that this is what I could do, is just sit in my bedroom and just chit-chat all day and learn stuff. That would be fantastic. But that's not how it works as a performer in the biz. But I do get to reach out to those who I'm calling peers or friends, or lack of a better word, those that are in the industry that I'm going to have a conversation with them anyways. I might as well record it because I'm not going to remember. I have a little of the bipolar, a little touch, a little smack of the bipolar. And I have no short-term memory. I could blame the phenobarb of having that kind of medicine when I was a kid, from the age of 1 till 5. You're only supposed to have it for 2 years. I had it for 3.5 to 5, so probably kind of fried my short-term memory. But I have a pretty good long-term memory. I remember some stuff from way back when. But that's what I do. So I'm recording these conversations with people who are in the industry to hopefully help myself, and those who are in the industry to help them, and hopefully reach out, and it should be a little entertaining. A little entertaining. Not a lot entertaining, sadly, because I'm actually thinking about learning stuff, but hopefully it comes across as a little haha funny, because I'm planning on taking all these stories and going on to the road in 2028. I'll be 70 years old, and it'll be called the Die Laughing Tour. I'll invite people over the age of 70 to come on in and promise someone dies every show, either by hand or by joke. So I'll be going old age home to old age home with my Die Laughing Tour in 2028. So look forward to that. So this is my open mic. This is my reaching out and learning about myself and learning about others. This is an open mic. Just like an open mic for music or an open jam session for music, you bring your chops, you play with someone else, you see how you play with others. This is my reaching out, seeing how I play with others, and I listen to it over and over again when I get home. And hopefully you can listen to it too. Share, likes with your friends, and comments. If there's something to say, I won't listen, so it doesn't really matter. So please, I hope you enjoy this next beginning of season 3. Reaching out there for on the road, and I'm excited to speak to people who are traveling for business, not for pleasure. And if they get pleasure out of their business, this is what I believe is the whole point of the show, which I believe is what you'll get out of that. So this week and tonight in the green room, I speak with Simon Rakoff. He talks about great stuff that's coming up in his life, and the CBC and things that he's doing on the radio and his live stage shows. So please listen to this. Hey, theme song. Every highway starts to look the same. Mile markers are my minutes in my day. Through my mirrors I can see my home behind me. I sign my soul on the dotted line. Yes, I signed my soul on the dotted line. Yes, I signed my soul on the dotted line. Okay. So we are live from my bedroom, on location, but we're on the road, and this is now season 3, if you can believe that or not, and that is what I'm doing on the road. The idea is to go out and be on the road. Today's a crazy night to be on the road, if I could throw that out there. Not that I want to make this time, but I'm telling you, God is upset at somebody in Buffalo. Somebody in Buffalo. I don't know who did what, but Buffalo, you did something. So I'm very happy to be involved again on my live on location, and I'm dealing specifically with people who understand the trials and tribulations to being on the road, to being a part of an industry that says if you stay in one place, you're not going to be successful. The road is going to build you. And the same thing happens as a trucker. If you're a trucker and you're not on the road, where are you? That's the question. And when I was on the road, my handle was Rubber Chicken. That was my handle, and I had a CB, and I was very excited to be on there. But now we have this thing with the cell phones, and you shouldn't be on the cell phones while you're on the road. I'm excited to be in the green room, and this one is actually green, not normal. That's actually not a normal thing in my life, a green room to actually be green. And I'm sitting happily with a gentleman who I've met on several occasions, and he's entertained me, but I don't believe I've entertained him. I don't actually believe I got up on stage in front of this gentleman ever. And he said, you know what, I can help you because you can help me, and I want you to help me help you. And I said, I want to do that. I have this little thing. I have a television show I work with, and I have this radio thing. Well, it's not really radio, is it? It's online. And he said, okay. And that's Simon Rakoff. But www is your first name, and Simon Rakoff's your last name.
Exactly. .com is my last name, yeah.
.com. Keep it to yourself. And I'm not here to entertain you, because that's just... My problem is that you are one of the first true stand-up comedians that I've actually ever tried to have a conversation with. And I'm going to try. This is my first time ever to have a conversation with someone who's in the stand-up, being a stand-up person.
Oh, okay.
You identify as a stand-up comedian.
Of course.
Well, I do not. I don't. Go ahead.
No, well, I mean... A lot of people don't. I mean,
the cab driver.
I would suggest most people don't identify as a stand-up comedian, actually. But, you know, I've been doing this like 36 plus years, so I think that's, you know, pretty much what I am at this point.
I am. This is a Bible story.
To do is to be.
You are. You're a verb. You're an active verb. And what's important with what you've just said is that as I said, I don't identify. I'm an entertainer, and anybody who wants to be on a stage, these are my brethren. But there's this genre of entertainers that it is thick. It's its own entertainment. It's its own value. It's its own thing. And stand-up comedy, I would like to say, are stand-up philosophers. If you listen closely, you're going to learn something. And they're trying to teach you something with comedy.
Sometimes. I mean, some of us and some of the time. I mean, ideally it should be fun. You know, it's the spoonful of sugar with your medicine, right?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And
again, I'm not wrong.
No, I think that's the reason I wanted to talk to you, just so I could have a right moment with you.
Yeah.
And one of those reasons, so you identify as a stand-up, and you also are, I guess I should ask questions, which is, I'm not a good interviewer.
Anything. That's okay, man.
Yeah, I'm not a good interviewer. What I am trying to do is just have a chat with you. So what I wanted to know, I have my own answers, so I want your answers of, so you've been on the road before as a comedian, yes?
Yes, I've traveled almost everywhere in this country. I have not been to the territories, but I've been to all the provinces.
We got to get you in the territories.
Well, there's nobody there, you know? I mean,
there's nobody in the territories?
No, I'm sure there's some people there. I'm just kidding. I tend to go to population centers, you know?
Okay.
I mean, I don't want a gig where, I got to drive up and like sort of pull over and pick people up and take them to the gig so I have an audience. I like to go somewhere where people live already.
That ain't stupid, though.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure there's people up there, and if they invite me, I'll go. But
so you haven't been invited. So you're saying that is a strict... Is that a stand-up comedian thing, or is that a you thing, Simon?
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a me thing. I have no idea if other people only go where they're invited, but I can't imagine crashing a gig either. I mean, Really?
Oh,
Just showing up at a place and going, "Hi, I'm a comedian. Put me on."
I think I do that a lot. And
Really?
But I wouldn't do it as a comedian. I'm a performer, and it's a stage. That's where I differ. I'm not going to go up there and tell people, this is what you should think, and this is how you should think it. Because you came here tonight to spend your money, and I'm going to give you a what for with a little ha-ha hilarity. And you're going to try to repeat it, and you won't be able to because you're also a wordsmith.
A wordsmith. Well, that's the clumsy medium that most comedy is done with in stand-up, is words.
Did you just say clumsy medium?
Yeah.
Okay. Words are a clumsy medium.
Absolutely.
Your eyes are wide. No one sees this at home, but his eyes are wide like I said something that, what are you, crazy?
Well, I mean, they're all right. Words are okay, but they're not a perfect translation of feelings and thoughts. They're a clumsy medium that you can use to try and get across what you're trying to say.
You know what? I love a game of charades. I'm a big fan, but it really doesn't work on the radio.
No, but my point is, we've developed a way to communicate with each other, but there's still going to be tons of misinterpretation, and you can never really speak everything you're thinking or feeling using words, which are a limited tool.
When sewing a story together, you use the material for which is your asset. Now, you create all your own assets, correct?
Yeah.
They're from your life, or they're from your creation. They're from
Of course. Well, that's the job. I mean,
so the job is to...
When people say, do you write your material, I always think, well, that's the whole thing. That would be like saying to a painter, so do you actually paint the paintings? I mean, that's the gig.
No, but someone could have come up with the composition of that painting, and you're doing it by numbers. You said, did you paint that? And my answer could qualify to be yes.
Okay, if somebody is painting by numbers and calling themselves a painter, I think there's that's already a problem.
I'm up for the conversation. I think if a guy's trying, he's not doing. A guy who's doing is active. So if I'm painting and you say, "Hey, did you paint that?" I don't want to get in semantics, but we can get into anti-semantics because we both have that problem. But I'm suggesting that we could have this conversation about again, we're doing wordplay. That's part of this thing, and that's why I want to actually have a conversation, and it won't actually kind of happen.
But we're talking about being an artist, okay? So for me, I mean, if you have a TV show, you're Letterman or whatever, okay, I understand. You got to go out there every night. You have some writers to help you come up with material, but this is somebody who's already established who they are and their style to such a degree that even though the other people are also writing the material with them, they're still writing what that guy would write.
And that's only one of 3/3 of the things you need to make that work. Material is only one of the 3 things you need to get to
right, but
stage.
I'm saying at this level where
Delivery
it's just
persona,
me,
right?
where it's just the the act is me, then I write the material.
Which is, as you said firmly, that is the job. So writing the material, and I'm going to go back with wordsmith, and you can slap that back in my face if you like, but that's kind of what I'm going with. You're a writer that wants to perform his own works.
Right.
But you could, like that, have another person say, I got some stuff for you. I couldn't use it because I'm not a big black man. But if I was a big black man, this joke would be hilarious.
Oh, I've written lots of jokes for other comedians.
And did you get some money out of the deal?
Sometimes.
But sometimes... Isn't it funny how you're very willing to do things that you love to do for free? I love what just happened, and if you added me into your act, that would be great. I don't need money. That's because that's the guys who built the computers in their garage. They didn't do it because they were going to make a quadrillion. They said, we're going to change the world, man. And that's kind of the stand-up in Israel. They call them stand-up-ists. They call themselves stand-up-ists, like I-S-T. Like,
right.
I'm a stand-up-ist.
Well, the thing is, I mean... most people don't do stand-up. Even people who want to do stand-up, most people try it for a while and they're just not good, so they get out.
This would be me. I love performing. I tried stand-up when I did a little tour, and I said, "This isn't 100% me. I like to be quip. I like to be fast. I like to sing songs, and I want to be." If you learned something after listening to me, you did something wrong. Right up to that point in your life, you failed yourself. If at this point you're learning, wow.
But then the people who are good at it within a couple of years go, this is not a good job, and they quit. So really, you have to just love doing it. Because if you want to make money, almost anything else will be a better way to make money.
Are you listening? Are you listening out there? Anything else?
Well, anything else that somebody who's smart enough to be a stand-up comedian can do.
Oh, I see. You're smart enough to do the job, and after you figure,
I'm saying there's a lot of jobs worse than this, but if you're smart enough to do this, you're smart enough to make good money. I mean, it's like I always say, I'm smart enough to be a lawyer, and I'm smart enough not to be a lawyer.
Right. In the same breath. I think I like that a lot. I think what you just said is eye-opening. So now that you find yourself, the reason people travel, I think, is to open their own minds up. But at the same time, if you're a local comedian in your local pub, and that's how you started with your local room, you got to travel just so you see other audiences, different people responding to your material.
Yeah, of course, it makes a huge difference. I mean, there's a club in Ottawa that's fantastically good. I mean, the crowds just go crazy. And everybody who starts at this club is terrible as soon as they hit the road because it's much harder everywhere else. You know, it's important to get different audiences and learn what works for other people. I mean, in my experience, the more personal you make the act, the more universal it is.
Okay. So with that, you would tell the person who starts out should not just qualify one stage.
Well, yeah, I mean, get out there as soon as you can.
Yeah, all of second season was me walking around getting that fact kind of drilled into my head, and now I'm talking to the comedians, and you're okay calling yourself a comedian, right? Like,
yes,
you identify as a comedian. Someone
sure.
said, "What are you, some kind of comedian?" Your answer is,
yes. Actually, I'm
right.
Not just some kind. I'm excellent.
I like that as an answer. You some kind of comedian? No, I'm actually one of the top 3% who's getting paid.
Some kind of comedian.
Right.
I don't know who you're pulling over, mister.
I don't even have a car. That's just weird. No, I'm just having fun, but I'm not supposed to. So talking about the road and how you're on the road, is there a road story that I can then kind of pearl together, some kind of jaded wisdom?
I don't know. I mean, it's always interesting to be out there. I like just stories of interactions. You know, one night I was I think it was Montreal. I had a hotel room, and another comic who wasn't getting paid was just in town and asked, "Can I stay in your room?" So I said, "Yeah, I guess. You know, we're a fraternity. You know." And so I went down to the lobby in my robe to get a cot so that my friend could stay in the room. So I get the cot, and I'm going up to my room in the elevator in my robe with a cot, and the elevator stops, and somebody gets in, and they look at me, and I just said, "This is outrageous. I mean, the room's small enough, but now to have to share." Got a good laugh out of them.
Did they charge you for the cot?
No.
See, this is what I like. And you called it a fraternity. When you're on the road, and the road of performers, I didn't have it 100% with stand-up specifically, but you have your opener, you have your middle, and you have your headliner. And the headliner clearly knows he's making more money than everybody else on that gig. He just knows whatever money there is, I'm making more.
This wasn't somebody on my gig.
Pardon?
This was a comic I knew who was in town just looking to do a set somewhere.
Right.
It wasn't like they were even on my show. They just knew I was there because I'm in the paper advertised being there and needed a place to stay and asked if they could stay in my room.
Because he's your friend, not the fraternity of you're the middle and I'll help you because I'm the headliner.
The fraternity of comedians who know each other. And in fact, even if you don't know each other, it's a little bit like if you're Jewish and you're traveling the world and you find a synagogue and go in and say, "Look, I'm a weary traveler in your city," there's a good chance somebody will say, "Come for dinner at my house." So it's a little bit like that. If I go to a city and go to the comedy club and go, "Hey, I'm a comedian from Toronto and I've been at this X number of years." I mean, in Canada, they'll probably know who I am, but you know what I mean? They'll say, "Oh, please come in, have a drink," This is all true stories. But the brotherhood. So did you feel a wince when someone like myself would come into your club and I'd have a guitar? No longer am I pure to the form of the standing up. And I don't care. I do my act. Yeah. What do I care about your act?
You're so much more. I think I figured out what it is. It's you're more approachable since you shaved the facial hair, and it changed your whole look. Every time you actually say something and you mean it to be funny, you have a little smile on your face, and I know what you're saying.
Well, I'm a lot older than when I had the facial hair.
No, don't do that. I don't think that was it, because I'm hearing your act from when it was, because they're funny jokes. Though jokes, you have an act, correct? I mean,
Yes, I have an act.
No, I mean, oh, Gewalt. I mean, the jokes that you hear are honed. These are not random thoughts that you're blurting out.
Well, these are right now, but in
Incoherently
my act on stage,
on stage.
Well, occasionally I blurt out a random thought,
But we call that improv.
But I
We call
do
that-
have an act. Yes, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I can ad lib if I want, but I've got places that I know are going to work.
Right. I'm sorry to put you in any form of defense. So
No,
was
that's
terrible.
okay.
Of course you have an act. I'm saying, is it your act to say, I know people that go up, I don't know what bit I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to go up there and I'm going to freestyle. They run the recorder behind them and they have an impromptu set.
Well, I do that sometimes.
Like a Pablo Francisco or
Yeah, I do that, but not tonight here where they're paying me and I'm the headliner, because they're paying to get in and they deserve a show that's going to work for sure. But there's lots of open mic stuff that I do for that purpose specifically, so I can go up there and go, they're not paying, I'm not getting paid, and I'm going to, do what I want up here and workshop it. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't work, well, they got their money's worth, you know?
Okay, so that's your time, though. The stage time is, as it's been told to me, gold. To getting the access to a stage, being able to rehearse material in front of people in your world, to have that time to have your thoughts outside of yourself is worth something to you.
Of course.
Well, like in L.A., they were charging $25 for 3 minutes. Not that you had to pay them to get onto their
No,
stage.
I get it.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just explaining it to
Oh,
people
yeah.
listening.
No, but I'm saying, or in New York, you get all these guys on the street coming up to you going, hey, you like stand-up comedy? And they give you a flyer with their initials on it.
Right.
And if they get enough of the people, then they get a spot on the show.
Yes.
And all I can think is, so the quality of this show is based on who can hustle the most people on the street instead of booking the best acts. Why would I go to that show?
You're not wrong.
Of
You're
course
you're
I'm
not
not
wrong. But basically, the most talented normally don't get the job in the grand scheme of life. Is the guy who actually hustled. That's
No, but not in this world.
What?
Because the stakes are too low. So the only reason to get on is because you want to do it and it's worth doing. And the only reason you'll keep getting on is because you're good at it. You know? Some guy who hustles enough to get bringers, spots at some show is going to get on occasionally and eventually is going to go, you know what? I can't anymore. Because the truth is his friends aren't going to come anymore. And he's not going to like being up there not getting any laughs.
right. Well, that's what the name of the game is here in the world of stand-up comedy. It's not stand-up drama. It's not stand-up performing. It's stand-up comedy. At the end of the day, if it's not funny, this is no
Then
longer.
they go do a one-man show or something.
Oh, I think I like the taste of that. And that could be an on-the-road scenario, too, because one-man shows have to travel. That's part of the idea. It's Broadway and off Broadway.
No, look, there's a lot of entertainment that isn't stand-up comedy, and that's all good. But
No, 100%.
but I mean, there are lots of people also that you see who are, who I would say wanted to and could not do stand-up comedy, and have managed to work out a way to get on stage and get the occasional laugh, which is not enough if you're in comedy.
No, you're right.
I've seen like these evangelist preachers who and you go, oh, this guy wanted to be a comic, and he wasn't good enough, and now he does this preaching thing and throws in his little bits and gets some laughs, But given his druthers, he'd be a comic.
So I see. You've got the closet comedian who attaches the comedian to whatever job he's doing, like a motivational speaker, does a little gag on the side.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's like, what's that? The Toastmasters is basically being able to stand up in front of a crowd and command the room. But they're not doing anything. They're not creating a persona. They're trying to command the room with the content. Like, normally, they're not building persona. They're up there as themselves.
Well, look, if
Toastmasters.
if you had something, to actually teach, great. I mean, if you are like a guy with actual management advice or computer help or company business, whatever, financial stuff, good, go for it. If you throw a joke in there, more power to you. Right. But I don't have any expertise. I mean, I'm just saying what I feel and think. And, if you want people to listen to your opinions, you better make it entertaining in some way for them because everybody's got opinions.
No, you're not wrong. It's making it funny is what makes you you.
Right.
Yeah, I do it as a defense mechanism, and that became half the problem. And that's why I'm an entertainer, not a stand-up comedian. My parents should have beat me more. Not that. Did your parents beat you?
No.
No. But so stand-up comedy comes like Woody Allen clearly was abused. I mean, in the grand scheme of life. So, you know, you can see.
Well, I think there's a million ways to come to it.
Yeah,
frankly.
Yeah. Well, because lately when I say hello to my comic friends, I say, "How are you?" I really mean, "How are you?" Just my stand-up friends, not my entertaining friends, not my hypnotist friends, but the people committed to the art of really delving inside themselves. Have you noticed that there's a fine line between someone jumping into therapy and being funny? Like, you know, my father used to beat me with pots and pans. His father used to beat him with pots and pans.
I don't know who that person is, but that's a terrible story.
It is, but he'll make it funny, and the whole room will laugh, because for me, the pendulum is tragedy becomes funny, and then the word crafting and the smith makes me learn, and I didn't mean to.
But I think there's also more of an element of an outsider in the stand-up world. You know, it's rare that it's one of the popular kids goes into stand-up. It's more stand-up is a perspective, and you only get a perspective with some distance.
Right, you have to be someone looking. Well, exactly. Right, so when you show up to a new town, you notice what everyone else didn't notice that was just right in their face.
Precisely.
And you become actually a little bit of a star because no one else noticed that, and your job is to be perceptive.
Well, because they've never left.
Right, and that's another reason to go on the road is to get those POVs, those positions, those point of views that you didn't have while you're sitting in your living room eating Cheetos.
Sure. I mean, I toured the prairies last year, and, I made the joke about how it's like being on the Flintstones because the same background just keeps going by. Silo cow oil derrick, like you're in the Flintstones and that rolling background.
That's great.
And the people in the prairies laugh because they go, oh, yeah, I guess it is like that.
Right. It's your POV that brings it to their life to make it open. That's fantastic. And you bring a little levity. Everyone I've talked to that is over the age of 70, they say something crazy like, if you can make one person laugh, I did something great that day. I'm talking about people that don't have to make a living anymore. They're just basically waiting to see God at the other side or whatever is on the other side. And every day, if I can just make one person laugh, you're a crappy comedian. But if you're a good old
I was
person,
going to say, that would be a very bad byline for my resume. If I can make one person laugh, and that's why I'm never booked again.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of an epitaph.
Made one person laugh.
If you can read this, I screwed up. That's epitaph. Anywho.
I like the idea of having on my grave a long joke, and then the punchline just is cut off.
You gotta.
No, I died. Like
like
mid-joke, so that people read it and they go, and then what did the parrot say? And it's like, oh, no, sorry, I died.
That's a run-on sentence. Goes right into the dirt. That is a funny way to look at life. And that's another reason why, again, when I talk to only my stand-up friends, so you just want to make sure that they are happy in the grand scheme of life.
You were saying you have questions from your children?
Oh, I do. Why don't we jump onto that? Because my children clearly want to have questions from you. I have. You have children?
No, I have a child.
Okay, so we'll take away the pluralism of that. You have a child.
Yeah.
That you know of.
Right.
And this.
Yeah, no, I know her well.
You know her well. I don't want to advertise her. How old is she?
13.
She's 13. So you're in a whole.
Almost 14.
And does the road pull any type of distance when we're an entertainer and we're on the road?
Well, you know what? When she was born, I stopped going for any long length of time. Okay. I decided it was not worth going away for extended periods when I had a baby at home. Right. But now she's a teenager, and I can go for a longer period, and, she'll still remember me.
Okay, so the remembering of you. So there's some way to tether? Have you ever taken your daughter on the road?
No.
No,
she's yet to come see me. She's heard my album, but...
Okay.
It's not so much me, but I don't know what she's going to hear in a club.
You're a club act.
Of course.
No, not of course. But you are tonight working in a club.
Tonight I'm in a club.
Tonight you're in a club.
I mean, I work theaters. I work wherever.
He'll work where he can get the work.
He's got to make the announcement
Well,
that we're going to start the show.
He can make an announcement. This is not going to bother me.
Yeah.
Make an
Do
announcement.
what you got to do.
We are on location, people. If you think I'm screwing around, I'm not screwing around. This is for kids to listen to understand that if you're going to do this, you're doing this because you want to do this. You're doing this because you love to do this, and you got to hit the road. And you got to go away, and you got to say goodbye until you find something you love, and then you're going to be afraid to go around the corner because you're going to stay with the people you love. And the 3 people that I love the most in the world, they've got questions for the people, and I'm going to make this its own little thing. My oldest boy, who's 10, he'll then sum up your life. He'll give a credit to you. You know, you've been doing this, as you said, for 36 plus years. I've seen you on the Melissa DeMarco show, Debaters. There's other things, and you've been a credit to you. You just have a CD that you came up with. Is this your first? No, how many?
First, yeah,
your
no,
first
no,
CD.
I never made anything.
Never. Well, no, other than the 10-year, the 13-year-old. So, and I'm sure she's kind of.
All right, I never made anything I would sell. How about that?
Clearly, we're in a different time and age. So I'm sure. Anywho, he would then lobby it up and say, "Hey, what up?"
He'd say, "What up?"
He would say, "What up?"
Actually, lots is up. I'm. Hear that? I'm in the back of the room. What up? I'm doing a special for radio.
Now, actually, I'll be putting some money behind this too.
No, like a special where they're going to pay me and everything.
Well, I'm hoping this sells some
with
CDs.
John Wing.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, we're doing a very merry, happy holiday special for CBC Radio. An hour special. They're going to put it on Boxing Day and maybe other times too.
Other times too.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear that.
I was too.
Yeah. John Wing, is he still with the Junior? Or did he drop the Junior?
I don't think he calls himself Junior anymore.
No, he's actually the reason I knew I could still be in the entertainment industry. 11 years of, what the heck is this guy doing? And then in the 12th year, like, I want to be him.
Wow.
Well, he had some chops. He's
great. John's hilarious.
Yeah, but he comes from many years of really trying.
Oh, I always knew he was a funny guy. I introduced him his first time ever, actually.
I think I love that as a conversation piece. I don't think I knew that until just now.
Well.
So that's what up. And then I move on to my second child, who's my second oldest, because I don't want to have that problem. So my second oldest, he would ask you a couple of questions. And the first one would be, what's your favorite thing to eat?
Oh, that's a tough one because I love to eat. I mean, this is audio, but if you could see me, you could see I love to eat. And it's hard to choose because, the other night I had some people over, actually a bunch of comics over for a dinner party, and I made a leg of lamb that was just delicious.
Leg of lamb?
Yeah.
No, I just can't eat lamb. It's just so biblical. Every time someone serves me lamb, I'm like spreading it on the doorpost. It's just weird.
Yeah, no, I cooked it. It wouldn't spread well.
No, it probably would. A nice rare, a little medium rare.
It was superb. But I love sushi also. I mean, I love to cook, so I mostly make my own meals.
You're lucky you're in North America. Sushi to lamb. Where could you get that?
But when I do go out, I like to go out for sushi, Chinese food, Middle Eastern food. I don't make.
Right.
I mean, I make hummus, but I don't make all those different.
You make hummus?
Of course.
Why is it you answer questions like that? Like, of course you make your own hummus.
Because I say something, and then you question me as though I'm not telling you the truth.
You make your
own
hummus.
So my response to your challenge of my truthfulness is, of course, I said I did, and you said you make hummus. So my response to you make hummus is, yes, I wasn't lying about the hummus.
I wasn't thinking you were lying. I was going with wow. That was me saying wow.
I see, okay.
That was me, wow.
Because it sounds like just like...
it's like this, wow, of course.
Did I hear you right?
Yeah, that's not what I got a headset on.
Yeah, okay.
I heard you perfect.
Okay.
So then my second youngest would ask... My second youngest would ask, what's your favorite thing to do?
That's interesting. Well, I mean, other than
your job.
My job, which is great.
Right. Making the babies is pretty good.
Well,
yeah, other than that, what do we got going for ourselves?
I mean, your basic biological functions are all great.
And then after that?
Breathing in and out, I enjoy that, but I mean, if we're talking about sort of more voluntary activities, I like to read, actually. I'm always reading. Like, I've always got a book on the go or something. Okay. I find that really opens your brain. I like to do those cryptic crosswords in the Globe and Mail a lot.
Okay, well, this is going to keep you sharp as a tack. Both these things, reading and the cryptic crosswords.
Sharp as a tack has never been the problem.
What would be the problem? in your life, other than your
Depression, I mean, would be the problem in my life, but that's not uncommon.
No, I'm bipolar, so I have my ups and my downs, and the downs I don't even know what to do. I'm in bed, do something. I can't get out of bed.
Yeah, no, many of us suffer that way.
Yeah, there is something to that. So,
But overall, life is very good.
Yes.
Which shows you that depression isn't related to how your life is.
Right, and people need to understand that. He's got it good. Why is he so depressed? That's not the problem. The problem is that you can't. If I know I'm depressed. That's actually why I'm not, suicidal or any other thing, because I actually know I am. If you're not aware, life is going to be terrible if you didn't know you were. You'd want to kill yourself. And don't. If anyone's out there, please don't. I don't know if you're listening to this in your car. Just pull over, have a snooze, have a little.
So now it's a public service.
Yeah. Well, no, it always is. Yeah, this is actually what this was. If you didn't know, that's what you were doing the whole time. This is for community. This is for people in your community, brotherly or not, just to say, this is what I did. This is the fun part of what I do. This is how I do it through, and this is how my life is 5 minutes before I go on. I'm trying to get people to be here because I'm not normally. I'm present, but I don't get to only listen like the 70%. I'll be a little bit quieter because we're really here.
No, they're going to announce the show.
This is fantastic.
They're starting the show now.
This is fantastic. Well, I got 3 more questions. Is this going to get? Are we good now, or? No. I'm getting a finger. I got a finger. So they're holding a finger. This is Yaz, I think. Yaz is holding me a finger. He's a finger holder, Yaz. It's one of my favorite bands. You like Yaz? In My Room? No? It's a great band. Am I being loud right now?
Your hilarious hosted MC from Montreal, it's Alistair McAllister!
That's not even Simon Rakoff. I was
I'm
waiting
not
for
the
Simon
host.
Rakoff.
I'm the headliner.
No, I know, but I wanted to hear him say, and your headliner's in the back of the room.
He did already.
Oh, that was earlier. Oh, and he's the gentleman that was here at the back earlier at the beginning of our...
Right.
Okay. All right, so that we got that favorite thing to do.
I just didn't want us talking to
you.
go out over the PA for them.
Thank you. I actually didn't know there was a PA behind me other than like a production assistant.
No, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. Interesting. So lastly, of my
youngest son.
My third oldest.
Yes.
My third oldest has a couple of questions. The first question for my third oldest is, what's your favorite color?
Red.
What's your favorite color? Is there a reason?
It stands out.
I'm going to go with Spider-Man, perhaps.
Oh, yeah, and Spider-Man wears a lot of red, but he wears blue as well, so.
Half, I guess. More. Okay, I'm with you. And what would be then your favorite number?
I don't think I have a favorite number.
Okay. Again.
Never occurred to me.
Never occurred to you? No numerology? There's nothing that you see a number, it gives you a little special something?
You know what? I am so not a believer in anything that I can't understand. Except magnets. I don't know how that works, and I believe it.
You know, the Earth is just one big magnet. That's how it's working. Gravity's now no longer gravity. It's just actually just magnetic pull. I just heard that recently. It's kind of wonky. You might want to learn that magnet thing.
How that works?
Yeah, because that's quite what it is.
No, but I mean, nobody knows how it works.
No, it's... Okay.
I'm saying we know it works.
No. I think I've seen that episode. I think I actually know how a magnet works. But
but my point is nobody does know how it works. We know it works. We don't know why it pulls.
So why do you tell jokes? It's because that's what you do. That's what it does.
Right, but that I understand. I know how that works.
Okay, we're not doing science, but the science of comedy we'll talk about.
I can talk about the science of comedy.
No, that's what we can talk about, not magnets. We got to
No,
stop.
no, I'm just saying magnets is the only thing that I don't know, have any explanation for, and yet I believe. But I don't believe in religion or, aliens or angels or the dead walk or, any of that stuff. People, crystals or like none of that. Numerology. That's all like, yeah, sure. Okay. Enjoy.
Okay. No, I'm happy with that.
Comedy, I understand. Here's my theory of comedy. I think people laugh because you're creating a new connection in their brain. You're taking two thoughts that they have, and you're creating the connection that they never put together before.
Right. No, that's right.
But the reason it's a laugh is you get there first, and the pieces come together. So you know how they built the railroad?
With the Chinese?
That's right. You take the Chinese. No.
Sorry.
You
live in Canada.
Well, you know how in Canada they built the railroad from the east and the west?
Literally.
and it met in the middle, and then they
Right.
put the golden spike in where it met.
Okay.
Okay, so think of the two thoughts as the two railroad lines. And the laugh is that moment where the two thoughts meet and you go, cling, here's how those two things come together. But you have to beat the audience there to make a joke. That's why the punchline word is always the last word.
Right.
So that they don't get there before you.
Right.
And that's what creates the laugh.
I like that science.
It makes sense.
Yeah, that's why it's 3 as well. It's because you think this is going to happen because I told you. Then I think this is going to happen because I told you. And clearly I'm going to tell you to make a left turn. No, right turn. And
Exactly.
You surprised me. So it's actually the
Well, it's
action of surprise.
establish the pattern, enforce the pattern, break the pattern.
Right, and we're pattern people.
Yeah, of course.
And shadow people, which is the craziest thing, too. If there's no shadow, where are you? They're not casting his shadow. So with my, no number. So the favorite song?
Wow, that's a tough one. Maybe In My Life by the Beatles.
That's a good song. Okay.
But, I like a lot of songs.
Okay.
Like, there's no song where you would go, okay, I don't have to hear another song. This is the only one I have to hear. Much like a favorite food. I mean, yeah, it's great. But if it was every meal, every day, you'd go, you know what? I'd kill for something else I like less.
So having more things in your life keeps it stimulating, keeps it active, keeps you active.
Well, yes.
Well, I think that's basically okay. That is good. That's good advice. I don't care if it's coming from a comedian or the judge who's saying you really shouldn't drink and drive. Another public service announcement. Because
these are all good.
Yeah, we're on the road.
Do you want me to help the community with some thoughts of that nature? Don't take the back off the TV to see how it works. Don't do that. It's going to wreck the TV, and you'll probably get hurt.
Is it?
No.
Is that a
I
service
live to
announcement?
help.
Is that a service?
You know the holes in the wall that you plug things into? Don't stick other stuff in there. Don't do that.
Okay. I was thinking more specific to the guy who's thinking of climbing into his car and being an artist. See, I don't know if you could ever claim to yourself.
Be an artist.
You would tell people to do such a thing?
I would tell people, do what you want with your life. People have this mixed up view. People always say to me, comedy, that's hard. I say, no, hard is waking up at 7 to get to a job you hate for 9.
Right.
Because in the end, time is the only non-renewable resource.
Okay.
There's always more money.
Right.
There's always more stuff.
Right.
But your time,
But when that red light
that's
comes
it.
on,
Tick, 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 tick.
you got to hit it. Well, and that would be our time because we've already started a show and we're talking through the opener's act.
I know. I should be watching this.
Yeah. Well, you're just learning, but he'll be here all week long, and you guys.
I'm just learning?
Pardon?
You said, well, you're just learning.
No, I said you could be learning from this.
No, I
Yes.
like to see what the audience is
Right, you wanna
laughing
see-
at and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, we wanna see
because
what
I'm going to have
roller
to go
coaster
up
ride
there at some
Yeah,
point.
you want a roller coaster ride you're in for.
It
when you got
helps me.
The drunk in the corner who's always saying, turquoise. You're
Precisely.
Like, why? You're saying turquoise.
I mean, it's going to be fine either way, but, I like to be
Yeah.
present.
I've seen you more often than not being the beginning of a show because, as you said, you were the anchor, one of the
Happy to do
cornerstones
that.
of some downtown Toronto
Clubs.
clubs.
Exactly.
And you would come into a cold room. Everyone had paid to have been there, and you get everybody to be a cohesive unit. And so, in the world of emceeing, well, in my world, I'm a better MC than I'll ever be a headliner. But you gave me some insights into my life. When I watched you, you helped me understand what a beautiful audience. You actually meant it.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. It's these things that you have to just forget.
Well,
that
that's
aren't-
your job when you start the show, is turning a room full of people into an audience.
Exactly. But that's not what you showed me. I'm saying that you're a master at doing that. What you showed me is that you actually have to believe in what it is you're actually trying to say to these people when you're using reality.
Well,
You're
that's a
coming-
beautiful and touching story about me. Anyway, thanks for your time. I'll see you soon.
Please and thank you.
Be well.